Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name is Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So, hope that's why you're here because that's what's going to be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is for week 4, January 19th through January 25th, and all my reading shenanigans in between. And I completed some shit. Pretty proud of myself. So we got some stuff to talk about. So without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay, so if you've been following me at all, you know that I am doing this reading habit style challenge that I draw a different thing to do with my reading each month on my TBR, and January's was to read a book entirely outside. Okay, so let me just break this down. I tried, guys. I tried, but the first time I read outside, it was 37 degrees. The second time it was 32. And it just progressively kept going down. And we had some really, really cold snaps. So the book that I had originally chosen to read entirely outside did not get read outside. So I'll be putting that guy back in this jar, and 1 month we'll draw 2. And that's just how it's going to go. But I am happy to say that I did complete that book that I chose to read entirely outside, and that is North is the Night by Emily Rath. This is the first installment to the Tunella duology. I don't know how to fucking say that. There's a lot of words in this book I don't fucking know how to pronounce, so I'm not even going to try to do that. But this is Viking and Norse mythology. There is a glossary in this book with a bunch of names that I can't pronounce, so I was referencing that quite a bit. However, that glossary does not have pronunciations. It just has who they are and a little bit of description. So it didn't really help. Just pre-warned me that I'm not gonna be able to say half the fucking words in this book. So there you go. We do focus on friendship in this book. That's one of the biggest tropes in this book. We also have a death and the maiden trope, and then we have a dual prophesized trope in this book. So we have quite a few stuff going on, but I originally picked up this book because A, it's fucking gorgeous, and B, this thing, I was so excited about this book. I was so excited because I was in that Norse Viking feel, like I'm in that element right now. So quick summary about this book. We follow Siri and Anya, I believe is how you say their names. Siri and Anna are attacked by the death god, Kalma. Kalma? Again, names I can't fucking say. And Anna, to save Siri, sacrificed herself, willingly goes with Kalma to Tunella. I don't know. Tunella, that's how I'm gonna say it. I don't know how you actually fucking say it, guys. Willingly goes to Tunella with her. After this happens, Siri goes north to try to rescue her while Anna is in Tunella. At this point, our story breaks into 2 perspectives, and we're seeing Siri's story above ground, going through the forest, going through the winter, meeting different gods, learning all these different things, meeting men who are trying to rape her, and she defends herself, learning the shaman ways from Van Mignon, who she is seeking to take because he is the only shaman ever to get out of Tunella of his own accord. And so she needs his secrets on how to get in Tunella to save Aerie. Now, while she's doing all this jazz, Aerie is down below with the Witch Queen, Tuantar. I don't know. Like I said, guys, I can't pronounce these fucking words. And most of them sound exactly the same, by the way. But she is the Witch Queen, and she is just vile and horrible, and she's torturing these girls. Aerie befriends a raven, and she learns that this raven has another story, and there's a reason why these girls are being brought. It's not just for entertainment for the Witch Queen. There is a reason, and there's an underlying coup happening, and Aerie stumbles upon it, and she realizes and is told basically that she is the one that will break it. So that is where I'm going to leave you off at, because this thing was so much fucking fun. I had such a good time with this one. I don't want to ruin or spoil anything else. So definitely, I love the dual perspective of this story. I thought that was really, really great. That was one of the major things, let's get into it, that worked in this book, was the dual storylines. Emily Rath managed both of these very, very well. She didn't emphasize one over the other, but still kept them very, very different. But at the same time, everything they were learning affected their storyline, but also when she clashes the storylines back together, everything they learned affected each other. So she did a really good job of giving them own individual storylines, but still allowing for that really easy meshing at the end. And it was seamless. I thought she did such a good fucking job with that. I had such a good time. Did I have my favorite storyline? Yes. Am I going to tell you which one it was? No. Because if you follow me at all, you should probably know what it is. All right? Just saying. This really felt like reading two books at the same time, and it was really cool. I enjoyed this experience. I really had a genuine good time with this. When I was reading this, I was in Ciri's storyline. I was there traveling with the bear. I was there learning the shaman ways. I was there meeting the goddesses. I was there with her. I was right fucking there. When I was with Ari, I was in that world. I was in Twinella, and I was scared because the detailed world building that Emily Rath did in this was epic. She built this world around these girls. She did a damn good fucking job. And she did really good with the descriptions of the characters. I really had a good visualization of what these characters look like. I can picture them in my mind as I'm reading this, and seeing the grotesqueness, and seeing the beauty and the cold and the evil and the solemn, and, you know, the fury of some of these characters. I saw all that. I thought it was fantastic. I thought she did such a good job with these dual elements, with the world building on both sides, building the characters up in both storylines enough that when they start to converge, it's not this. It's not we're fighting each other. It is a seamless, we're going to mesh into one, and this is going to be a strong ass fucking story that everything that happened in these separate storylines will come full circle, and it all makes sense. Things I didn't think would make sense started making sense, and I thought it was really, really cool. I loved the way she did it. My favorite thing, however, in the story was the enduring friendship between Ciri and Anya. I loved this friendship. I loved it. Was it written to read that there could definitely be more? Absolutely. Absolutely. But Emily Rath walked this line so well. I mean, she balanced it that if you wanted to see a love, you could. If you just wanted to see a friendship, you could. She really left it up to the reader of what they wanted to see when it came to these two girls. I just thought it was awesome. I don't read a lot of stories about true female friendships, and something about female friendships is that they are almost like intimate relationships. Minus the sexual aspect, everything else is super intimate and laced when it comes to female friendships, or really tight soul bonding friendships. And that is what these two had. And I just love that. I loved that element being brought forward. I loved it being displayed as well as it was, making it the strength of both girls, relying on it as much as they did. I thought it was great. I loved that moment. I loved it. And I loved how they kept going back to it. Like, this is my rock. She's my rock. I'm doing this for her. I need to stay safe for her. She's coming for me. I know I need to do this so she stays safe. I love that. I just thought it was very, very endearing and very, very sweet. And I was in a sacrificial mood, and I love the sacrifice that these girls were willing to put up to give for the other, not knowing if they were ever going to be reciprocated. The blind faith and the blind trust that these two had for each other, I just absolutely adored. And it was fantastic. I loved how, despite this build, while they're separated, their friendship was building. We got to see their friendship really strengthen, but we also saw them flourish on their own. We saw Anya become from this weak person who always relied on Ciri to being this strong, independent forethinker who no longer was a meek mortal, but she was the queen of the underworld. She became the queen of the dead, and she commanded them. And she stood on her own 2 feet. And she held her fucking own. She outsmarted the wicked. I loved how Ciri saw a man who was broken and built him up so he could give her the tools that she needed to be able to do what she needed to do. She was able to put aside what she needed, what her goals and her mindset were, to give this man what he needed to get to where he needed to be, to get her where she needed to be. And I love that she was so forethinking in it. She kept her mind clear in that. And then she still went back and helped him out. After she completed her mission, she still went back. I thought that was great. I really loved both of their character dynamics in this. I thought it was great. Had a great time with it. As much as I like this book, there are things in it that didn't work. And one of them was that this book is actually set over a couple of months, but it felt like it was only a matter of like 2 weeks. The way the gaps in time were given to us. I would have liked to see it extended just a little bit more. I mean, this thing is 500 something pages. 570 pages. And it could have been longer. You could have given me more during those time gaps to really accentuate how long Anya was down in Tenella. I say whatever. Anyway, how long she was down there, because it really, we know because you said it was a few months, but it didn't feel like it because we only got to see so many instances. It would have been nice to see some of the, either more of it or more of the time stretches, the boredom that she also did suffer down there of just sitting in a room. I would have loved to see more of the conversations with Jocko, the Raven. I would have thought that was great because that becomes such a prevalent thing later on in the story that we didn't really see a lot of those heart-to-heart conversations, and it would have made so much if we would have seen that, because it would have strengthened this time frame that she was down there. Ciri, it goes over months, but it's all still within the kind of the autumn into the winter. But because she's traveling north, we're losing that change in season. We are losing it because she's going to an area where even in the autumn, it's still very, very winter. There's ice-covered lakes. So we lost that transition of time. It would have been really nice to actually have that extended, maybe see some more description of the leaves changing due to the season, the description of the weather changing, not just the location, but just the environment itself because of the season she was in and that transition to the seasons. That would have been really nice to see because it would have strengthened that. They've been gone for a long time. You've been gone for months, not a few days. You've been gone for months. People do change, you know. That would have strengthened a lot of other areas later on in the book as well. So I said that this book walks a really fine line between a soulmate relationship and a romantic relationship between Ciri and Anna. And I love that that was there. I love that she allowed the reader to see what they wanted to see. I thought that was a really gutsy move. However, there are a few lines that were dropped that do reference more of an intimate romantic relationship towards the end, over a soulmate sort of thing. And if you're going to give me that, give it to me. Let me see that moment, not just in words. Let me see that culmination moment. And all I got was kind of some phrases, which heartfelt, beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I felt them and I love them, but I wanted to see that physical response to them as well. And I didn't see that. If you're going to go there, if you're going to actually make a side, choose a side, please let me see it. I thoroughly enjoy that because that would have been a really fun moment for them, especially after everything they went through for each other. I think that was a missed opportunity in the story for sure. And the last one, I loved Anya. Don't get me wrong. I liked her a lot. I loved who she ended up becoming. However, going through it, she complained and whined a lot. Okay? She has been chosen. She is becoming the queen of the dead. And you are still bitching and moaning Okay? This dude has told you how to stay safe, and you're voluntarily not listening to him. In a world that you've only been in for a few months, so you don't know everything here. Shut up. Shut up. You might have found your way out a hell of a lot sooner if you would have just shut the fuck up. She did complain a little bit too much for me. It got a little mundane with the complaining and the irksomeness of it was kind of annoying. For a spice rating, I only give this 1 chili pepper. This is not a romance. I would not consider this a romance. But a soulmance. Yeah. This is the joining of two souls. The binding of two of them. And if it's not your traditional romance, it's definitely in a world of its own. Because it's not so much about the physical appreciation, although that would have been great to fucking see, just saying, if you're gonna bring it that way, let me do that. Let me see that. But what I really saw in this is the joining of these two souls and formulating this strong ass bond, and these two becoming this indelible force that in the second installment will need both halves to really complete the overall mission, which is not really brought to the forefront until the very end of things, but you need the bond that these two have to be able to successfully do what they're needing to do in the next book, which is called South is the Sea. And as of this time, there's no current, I can't find it anywhere online, but it's in the back of the book. It does say, no, it doesn't. It does not give a time frame of when that next installment is going to be coming out. So we will see about that. But so I still wanted to give some kind of spice rating, even though it's really not a spice book. We do have some scenes with allusion to sex and very flowery words towards it. But it's not the focus of the novel. The focus is definitely the friendship between Ciri and Anna, and how that friendship morphs into a soul bonding experience that, although they did not experience together, they both experienced their own different turmoils and tribulations. They were still side by side the entire time, even though they physically weren't side by side. And just to see that in this story, I love that. I thought it was great. I gave this book 4 stars. I really wanted to give it 5, but it wasn't there just yet. It needed a few things, just a few things, but 4 stars for sure. Really had a good time with it. A stunning edition of this book. I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful with its foiling on the outside. Definitely a winter read, reverse cover. So you have the land of the living, and you have the land of the dead. So I thought that was a beautiful testament, that when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, it's just the reverse. That's fucking great. I thought that was awesome. Good time with this one. Glad I got to pick it up. Glad it's underneath my belt. Looking forward to the sequel whenever it comes out. Definitely will be picking it up as soon as it comes out. So, yep. The next book I completed was The Quiet Amish Bachelor by Samantha Price, and it looks like this. I gave this thing 3 stars. This is the 5th installment to the 7 Amish Bachelor series. They are Christian romances. They're very short novellas, and they feature the Amish lifestyle. This one features Samuel and Catherine. Catherine was the one that I was looking forward to because she's a little spitfire, okay? I really liked her from some of the previous installments because she's the only one that's like, hey, he likes you. Get over it and go talk to him. Like, I like her. I like her a lot. And I like the fact that she's so blunt. So I was really excited that this installment was about her. However, I did not know it was going to be about Catherine because I saw Mary Lou and Magnolia again, and Magnolia I can't fucking stand, so I was slightly irritated when she was back. Oh my God, Magnolia's annoying. She's annoying as all get out. I can't fucking stand that bitch. I just can't. But since the previous installments, Mary Lou was kind of the thorn in the side of everybody. And she is finally married to Jacob, and she is overturned, and she's turned over a new leaf, and she wants to start making amends. She wants to start helping people. So she thinks, I will take it upon myself to help Magnolia find a husband. And she thinks maybe Samuel will be a good choice. However, to get Magnolia to look at Samuel, she does a little bit of ruse and says, well, I think Catherine might actually like him. And Catherine, who wants to be married but sits at home alone sewing because nobody really wants to deal with her because she's so blunt and she's so outspoken that it kind of she intimidates people. She prays to God and asks for him to show her the way to her husband. And at that very moment, Magnolia and Mary Lou come to her house and question her about Samuel. And she takes that as a sign that she is supposed to go talk to Samuel. Well, turns out Samuel has always liked Catherine, and he's super excited that now the girl he likes is actually talking to him. But now Magnolia's coming over, and he's like, you're trying to set me up with Magnolia. Or Mary Lou comes over with Magnolia and you're trying to set me up. I don't want this. So he's trying to be gentlemanly about it, but he's also at the same time like, I'm not saying shit. Nope. I got my girl, deuces. I'm gonna go over here. Thank you. And that's kind of where our little story kicks off. What worked? Catherine. Like I said, I love her. I liked her in all the previous installments. She's a go-getter. She is in your face. She doesn't really take punches very well, or she doesn't take punches from anybody. And she definitely breaks the traditional mold of the Amish feminine that Samantha Price has created within the series. She is not like any of the other Amish females. I like that she's a Spitfire. I like that she is gutsy and she thinks about having a good time and being happy and enjoying herself, knowing that she herself is not doing anything actually wrong, but she just wants to enjoy herself. Another thing that worked was Samuel. Samuel stuck to his guns. He was honest with Catherine from the get-go. I like you. I don't want to talk to these other people. You're it. I like you. I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to do all this. And when the big third act moment happens, he still chases her and doesn't take, he's smart. He realizes that there's stuff going on. And he's like, no, this isn't her. He really knows her. He listened to her. He talked to her. He got to know her and further built up his feelings towards her. And I just like that. And I like the sweetness of this one. It was just super fucking sweet. That little picnic and her falling in the lake. Oh, gonna get a cavity. So cute. So cute. I mean, the aftermath wasn't very cute because her parents were being fucking dicks about it, but I get it. I get it. For the context of the story, it made complete sense that that's why they went off the handle. So I do understand it, but it was just like, oh, damn, that was such a cute, meet cute kind of moment too. It was like, no, why would you tarnish this? No. Yeah. What didn't work in this was Magnolia's irritating as shit. She's irritating, and she is the new Mary Lou. Mary Lou was kind of our thorn in the side of all the previous installments, and now it's Magnolia. And I don't like when authors do that in series, whether they're interconnected standalones, where they're connected series. I don't like when authors take a villain, make them good, give me a new villain that literally is just that previous character with a different name. Like, Mary Lou and Magnolia are the same person right now. Mary Lou is different than what she was in the beginning of the book when she was kind of the villain, but now Magnolia is that, and I'm just like, I don't care. I've already seen how this plays out. Make her something else. So that was really annoying. This is Amish romance. It's Christian romance. There is no spice rating in this, okay? We have a kiss. Although we do have a Amish girl having to change her clothes outside. There's a little bit of, I hate the word taboo, but for this book, changing into men's clothes to stay warm was taboo. So we do have on that scale, we have some, okay, we'll go there. But for actual like spice, yeah, you got none. I gave this guy 3 stars, super short. I read this thing in one sitting. And I read on Kindle. I'm having a good time with this series. I'm almost done with this series. As a matter of fact, the next book I'm going to talk about is another book in this series. So let's just get into it. The next book I completed was The Determined Amish Bachelor by Samantha Price. Again, another 3-star, and this was the 6th installment to the 7 Amish Bachelor series. Again, Christian romance, novella, Amish life, but with this one we do feature a pregnancy outside of a marriage of an English woman, okay? So this one is about Timothy. Timothy, throughout the entirety of the series, has been on Rumspringa, okay? And we've seen him a few times get into some trouble. And one of these trouble things is he starts to see a girl named Taylor, and she's an English girl. That's what the Amish call non-Amish people. So I am English for an Amish person, okay? And Timothy is living an English lifestyle because he's on Rumspringa. He has not completely left the community. He's still on his Rumspringa, and he and Taylor have sex off page, and she is pregnant. What is he to do? He was raised a certain way. So his mindset automatically goes to, I need her to marry me. Although he does love her and he knows that she is it, he automatically goes to, I need to marry her. So the baby isn't born out of wedlock, so my family will respect it and honor it and everything like that. I need to do the right thing. In his mind, in his community, in the way he was raised, this was the right thing. However, Taylor comes from money, and Timothy has a lot of debts because of some of the accidents he's gotten into while he was on Rumspringa. So money's very tight for him, but he's a very hard worker. And he knows that if he just puts his nose to the grindstone and does it, he can take care of Taylor and the baby. Taylor has a certain lifestyle that she's used to, and she's used to having a credit card. And she finally breaks down, and Timothy and Taylor elope. And that is where our story really kicks off, because her parents cut her off. And then that's where none of our problems start, because now they are on the same equal playing field. And everything that has to be done to get them out of this playing field leaves her alone with the baby, and she doesn't like it. So problems ensue, and that's kind of where our story really takes off. What worked? I loved the setup premise of this, because this one has been set up from book 1. We met Timothy in book 1 on Rumspringa. We get a phone call from him, or a letter. I can't remember exactly which, but every single installment he has been mentioned. So his character arc has already been built up. We already kind of had a good idea who Timothy is. He's kind of a screw up, but he's got a good heart, and he's just trying to figure out who the fuck he is. And in this book, he figures it out. He gets in a situation where he needs to figure it out. He doesn't get to play around anymore. And he takes the bull by the horns and fucking does it. He grows up very, very fucking fast. I liked this. I liked this angle in this series, because so far this entire series, it's all been within the Amish community. Finally, we are taking out of the Amish community and seeing the other side of what Amish kind of go through. I don't know what's going on, the clash between how they were raised versus what the modern society is, and what is expected of modern society, and what is important and what is valued in the English world, non-Amish community. I really enjoyed this. I was glad that we got to see it in this series, because if we didn't, I was annoyed. And it goes one step further. It actually has the girl coming into the Amish community. It has an English person being accepted into the Amish community, which we don't get a lot of this work. It's still a novella. We don't get a lot of in-depth on how it goes, but just this concept of somebody growing up with money, a silver spoon in her mouth, having access to whatever she wants, just living upper class, first class, all the way life, and choosing to rid all of that because she sees the peacefulness, the simplicity, and just the family bond of this group of people. How everybody gathers together to help. That was so cool. I fucking loved that about this story. I was so glad that this happened. I was so glad. I do have an issue with it later. We'll get into that. I just love that we got to see that reversed. I really, really enjoyed that. I enjoyed how welcoming Timothy was into this lifestyle. He never forced this on her. He let her kind of come to him with it. He just showed her what his life was like. You know, he didn't hide anything. He didn't try to make things something else than what they seemed. He was just very honest about everything. I just really, really enjoyed that, which is why I really enjoyed Timothy. I loved that he was trying to do the right thing, that every step of the way he was thinking, okay, so I'm in debt. If I do this, if I do this, if I do this, then this can happen and I can do this, but it's going to sacrifice this. He was fully aware of what all of his steps were taking and what they were sacrificing. But he looked at it logically and tried to figure it out. And he talked to her about it. He tried to listen to her about it. And I really appreciated that. I really appreciated it. There's a moment in this book where she is at home with the baby and he's working 2 jobs. So he's only home for maybe like 35, 45 minutes during the day. And when he comes home at night and she's asleep, I can completely understand that. There are times where there will be 3 to 4 days I will not see my husband. I will not see him, and we live in the same house, okay? Because I work days and he works nights. When I wake up, he is asleep. When I go to work, he is asleep. When I go on lunch break is when he's waking up. So I'll get to talk to him, okay, for like the 5-7 minutes it takes for me to get from my parents' house to my work, where I go for lunch every single day, okay? So I get like a 5-7 minute conversation with him while he's getting ready. And then I get off work at 4 and he's already at work. I come home, me and Elizabeth do our thing. And then sometimes I might be able to stay up past 11, but it's not guaranteed all the time. So there are sometimes I'll already be in bed. And that's if he doesn't get mandated. And this will go 3 or 4 days. It's not every time, but there are chunks of time where I will not see my husband. So I'm fully aware of what Taylor was going through. 100%. I know the pain of that. I know the loneliness of that. I know how fucking pissed off you get. But at the same time, I also knew what Timothy was going through. I saw what he was trying to do. And I understand that that's what my husband tries to do. Because my husband works very, very hard. And he's good at his job. So I'm not going to complain about it. Taylor was not the person that could handle that shit. Because she's used to having everything handed to her. And she's not used to being alone with just herself. She's used to being alone with people that she chooses to be alone with. There's a difference. So my heart went out to Timothy in this book because I understood a lot of levels on this book. I did. However, as much as I like this book, there were some things I didn't like. I mean, yeah, there was. Taylor. I just didn't really like her. I like the fact that it was reversed with Taylor coming into the community, but personally, I thought Taylor was selfish and bratty, and I couldn't stand it. And it took her way too fucking long to realize what that bitch had. Way too fucking long. Okay? Way too fucking long. She just took way too long to have it. And it felt like there were times that she knew what she had, but she's like, I'm going to keep you right here because I know that you're a good guy. I know you're kind of a golden retriever. I know that this is your makeup and your background, so you're not going to abandon me. No matter how bad I walk away, I still love you, but I'm not going to be with you. I'm not going to tough this out with you. I'm not. Or when he made a decision to come back to the community. You didn't make this decision with me. You didn't make the decision with him to move the fuck out either. You just did. So it's like, I didn't like her in some areas of that. She didn't leave a pleasant taste in my mouth at all. And then also, what really solidifies her mind, like, yes, she has the idea of coming into the community and transitioning into an Amish lifestyle, into a plain lifestyle. What seals the deal is that you get a fucking house. That's what seals the deal. Even though this is something that he had talked about beforehand, this could have easily happened with you there with him. Like, you could have helped with this. And it's just like, oh, it's done. We have a house. So this is fine. I'll be happy now. You had an apartment. Just because you didn't like your apartment and it was crummy and it was small, guess what? Sometimes that's how it fucking starts out. When you're young, that's how it starts out. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And that kind of bothered me. So I did drop this down to 3 stars. And again, this is Christian romance, Amish lifestyle. There is absolutely no spice, except the fact that they had sex because they have a baby. So, there's that. And the last book I started but I have not completed is an audiobook, and that is Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This is the first installment to the Castor Chronicles. There are some people doing a read along on YouTube of this, and it kind of got me in my head, and I was like, you know what? I did not read those growing up, and I really enjoyed that movie. So I'm going to give these a shot. And I found the audiobook. The audiobook is done by Kevin T. Collins, so it's all male voice, and I thought it was great. And so far, I'm really enjoying the audiobook. I'm really enjoying the story, but I can totally see, I'm not even halfway through the audiobook, and I can totally see why people hated that movie, because there's already a shit ton of stuff that they omitted and they completely changed. Don't get me wrong, I like the movie, but I did not read the book. Now that I'm reading the book, I'm thinking about the movie, I'm like, that is not how that happened. That's not how that happened. That person doesn't even fucking exist in the movie. Like, wait, what? Oh my God. Oh, so that's why the casters, oh, so much more depth, so much description, so much more in depth. So far, not even halfway done with the book, and the book is better than the movie. Easily done. But I'm still in the process of doing this, so I hope to bust this whole series out this year. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to the whole thing on audiobook. Definitely for the first one I am, because that's what I had on hand and I had a credit, so I thought I'd use it. But who knows, I might do all of these on audio. But they do intrigue me because I do like the idea of the Southern Belle thing and the ghost and the witches, the light and the dark. I kind of like that aspect, and I do like a good witchy book. And it is YA, so I guess the YA is still going. Still a thing with me right now, maybe. I don't know. But that's what I worked on this week, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I got a lot of stuff done, and I already have a lot of stuff to talk about in week 5, because on Sunday I started and finished a book. So I'm already rocking it right now. So let's hope the steam keeps going. So that's what I got for you guys. I will see you guys all soon with another video. And until then, read something great and have a good one. Bye, guys.